Okay, so this is your third lesson of the third marking period on developing a research plan. Um, and first, I always want to know how you're feeling. So just let me know. Whatever you answer is fine. And then I'm just going to go through with this. All right. So throughout time, people have gone on quests to pursue new lands, great riches, and bold ideas. When you conduct research, you join this exciting adventure. Your quest involves following a research plan that helps you find relevant information that supports and strengthens your ideas. In this lesson, you'll learn how to develop questions that will guide you through your research plan. As you follow the steps, you'll be ready to begin your quest for knowledge and understanding. All right. Why is it important to follow a research plan before writing an essay? To find relevant information that supports and strengthens ideas, to keep writers from making too many grammar and syntax mistakes, to find a variety of images that keep the audience interested and engaged, or to keep writers from showing too much bias for only one side of an argument. Select an answer. I'm just selecting any answer and keep going. You're going to think about it and select what you think is the right answer. Using a flexible research plan. Many situations in everyday life require some research. You might do research to help make a decision, for example. Say you're going to buy a new video game or try a new restaurant. You might ask, what do other people think of it? Asking initial questions is often part of informal inquiry. The questions that arrive during informal inquiry can guide you toward more precise formal questions that relate to your research topic. Asking informal questions is typically part of the first step in a research plan. So when you're given a research assignment, you should follow certain steps that will help you conduct research on the topic you choose. As you move through the steps, stay flexible. That is, you might need to rearrange the steps of the research process as your needs evolve. For example, asking informal questions about the topic you're considering might lead you in a different direction, or after some initial research on your topic, you may change its focus. This section will review the steps involved in the research process, which you can follow as your initial research plan. All right, so the steps of this process. First thing we do is choose a topic, right? For this project, your podcast project for marking period 3, it should be connected to your narrative from marking period 2. So whatever that narrative was about, the one I got this morning at 1 a.m. was about the student had been cutting school, and that got them off track, and that was the obstacle they had to overcome, was cutting school. So that topic could be truancy. And we're going to talk about how to narrow that down and make it work for you. But the next thing would be to find some background information and look for relevant sources. And then you're going to want to evaluate your sources for reliability. That's going to be our next lesson on Thursday. And use that evidence to support your ideas and cite the sources correctly. So those things are what I'm going to teach next time. Then you'll do a fill in the blank, right? So Gregory wrote a research paper for his English class. His first step was to choose a topic. Then he found some. I want you to go figure out what you think, fill those in, and then keep going. And a quiz question. What are 3 likely ways a research plan might be modified, right? I'm just going to pick 3 answer choices of any. You're going to think more about it, and it'll tell you if you're right or wrong. When we're doing those in the lesson processes, that's not evaluative. That's just, did you try? And because you're learning. So it's okay if you get them wrong. Choosing a topic. A topic is the central aspect of your research. Everything you cover in your research should connect to the topic. So choosing a strong topic is the first critical step in starting your research. You will choose a topic related to your marking period 2 narrative essay, but you'll need to focus on a specific aspect of that topic. Regardless of how you choose your topic, its scope and focus may change as you dig into your research. The scope of your topic should be broad enough to allow you to do some general research, as well as narrow down the topic to specific areas or subtopics. So for example, the topic truancy is too broad to cover in an essay. You can narrow a broad topic through informal inquiry by asking questions that explore a more specific view, position, or subtopic relating to your topic. By asking these questions, you could narrow down the topic to truancy in New York 2015 to 2020. You could narrow it down further to Brooklyn, to a particular neighborhood in Brooklyn, to the school you came from, right? You can get as narrow as you need to make your topic focused. Brainstorming. The best way to get a good idea is to get a lot of ideas, Linus Pauling said. Brainstorming can help you narrow down the topic, organize your thoughts, and focus your research plan. Brainstorming requires you to think about questions developed from informal inquiry before you form a clear research focus. And brainstorming is really that, just putting things down on paper. I like how she's using Post-its. If you have them, they're a great way because you can move them around. You can do the same thing with slips of paper that you just tear up. You can do the same thing with, pieces of junk mail that you get sent to you. If you guys are like me, you get weird junk mail sometimes, or just old envelopes. Whatever you've got laying around, you can write on. Did you know that J.K. Rowling wrote her first book, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, on like napkins and backs of receipts and things? Facts. All right, questions for brainstorming. Here are some informal questions you might ask yourself while you brainstorm. How do I feel about the topic? Am I interested in the topic I'll be researching? You really should be. Make sure you're interested. If you're not, this is a tedious assignment. It's awful, and it's supposed to be fun. Do I want to inform or persuade my audience about the chosen topic? Because that's a different tone, right? If you're trying to convince somebody of something, that's a whole different way of doing it than if you're just trying to give them information. What views and information should I include to either inform or persuade my audience, right? What kind of things do you need to know? And is there enough information available on the topic to help me strengthen my research? Like when you type it into Google, do you get a bunch of stuff or do you get nothing? That's going to help you decide. As you do your research, then you change your question, right? So a couple more things to do. Here's a spot to do some of that brainstorming, right? When choosing a topic for a research assignment, think of something that might be of interest to you and your audience. First, write down your chosen topic, truancy. And then to ensure your topic isn't too broad, list 3 to 4 informal questions about that topic, right? Why do kids have to go to school? Why don't kids want to go to school? Right? Whatever questions you have, just ask them and then submit, and then we'll keep going. And then we'll do our formal inquiry plan. Once you have a definite topic in mind, you can begin to develop the overall research question for a formal inquiry. Now, this question is going to center your research. A strong research question should have the following characteristics. It should be clear. It should provide enough specifics so that the purpose is easily understood. It should be focused. It is narrow enough so that it can be answered thoroughly. It's concise, expressed in just a few words, and complex, not just a simple yes or no answer. It has to have like why or how, or make you do some thinking and analysis. All right. Based on the topic of global warming, which of the following is an example of a strong research question? You'll look at them all and you'll answer what you think is the right one, and you'll do your best. And it will tell you if you're right or wrong. All right, and here's some more space to do a little more of your own brainstorming for your topic. Develop a research question for formal inquiry. So if I was thinking about truancy and why and how, but I really started thinking the thing I'm most curious about is what is the motivation that young people into truancy and away. Okay. And so I'll submit my question and begin my search. So once you have your research question, you're ready to look for sources. You could turn to your teacher or librarian for help. They can provide sources or point you in the right direction. I am a phone call away. The libraries you can, I think, go in person or go to the library website or call them and look for a database related to the subject you're researching. Or you can just do a general internet search, which is probably what you're all going to do. And next lesson, I'll give you some tips on how to make sure that those are reliable and that you're not just getting a bunch of bad information. And then, sometimes it's necessary to change the focus in your paper and your writing and for this purpose, we're going to make a podcast. And here are some common reasons why you might make that change. Maybe you find that your topic's too broad. The American dream. It's too big. There's too much information to fit a single podcast. So you need to focus on some aspect of your topic. Or maybe your topic is too narrow and there's not enough information, right? You want to write about just what kept kids from going to Sunset High School in 2018. And there just isn't enough information about that. So you can't find that out. Or you discover an aspect of your topic that you hadn't previously considered. I mean, this is the exciting part of an assignment like this. This is not asking you to just kind of like reinvent the wheel and regurgitate what's out there already. I want you to like do some of your own thinking, and maybe you'll think differently and you'll need a new or a different section in your outline to include the additional information, right? You might find out something you never heard of before. Or you might have had one position on an issue and now you're reconsidering it. Like you thought you really understood something and now you understand it different. I mean, this happens to me all the time. You may be tempted to give up when these challenges happen, but remember, they're typical research experiences that just require patience and flexibility. And in fact, this changing your mind about stuff is really what we're here for. That's really this is when you take your schema, right? You've always been looking at the world. Like when I read Chasing the Scream by Johann Hari, and he explained what the war of drugs was really about, blew my mind wide open. I was born in that Reagan era. I was one of those people that was drilled in this drugs are bad and thought that the drugs were the addictive thing, but they are not. The book Chasing the Scream completely changed my whole mind about what drugs are. And he went into that book with a research question and a set of biases that by the end of the book, he was reconsidering himself. So if you're interested in that topic at all, it's a fabulous book, Chasing the Scream by Johann Hari. All right. So Roberto is meeting with his teacher about his research paper on the benefits of the space program. His teacher expresses concern that Roberto's topic is too broad. Based on the article, What is the International Space Station, which is right here, how should Roberto change his topic to address his teacher's concerns? All right, so all you have is a topic that your teacher says is too broad and one source that you found, right? That's a good source and you want to use it. What do? You change your topic to fit the source. So let's look at this source and we'll see if we can find out which one of those topics would match this source. So, what is the International Space Station? The International Space Station is a large spacecraft in orbit around Earth. It serves as a home where crews of astronauts and cosmonauts live. It is also a unique science laboratory where nations have worked together to build and use the space station. NASA is using the space station to learn more about living and working in space. The space station has a volume of a 5-bedroom house or 2 jetliners, and it can support a crew of 6 people plus visitors. In addition to the laboratories where astronauts conduct science research, the space station has many other parts. Robotic arms are mounted outside the space station and are used to help build the space station. Those arms can also move astronauts around when they go on spacewalks outside, while other arms operate science experiments. The space station has made it possible for human beings to have an ongoing presence in space, and people have been living in space ever since the first crew arrived. Because of this, the space station's laboratories allow crew members to do research that could not be done anywhere else. In medicine, this scientific research has led to new ways to treat bone loss and use robotic technology. NASA and its partners have also learned how to keep a spacecraft working well. All of these lessons will be important for future space exploration. NASA currently is working on a plan to explore other worlds. The space station is one of the first steps. NASA will use lessons learned on the space station to prepare for human missions that reach further into space than ever before. All right, so which one of these is the correct one? How the space program positively impacts the medical field? Well, I saw that in there. How it helps people in different circumstances? That's too general. How astronauts learn about robotics and other subjects? That's kind of general. Advancements in technology came from space. I think that the medical one is the one that we want. And we are correct. All right. So in summary, congratulations. You're on your way to your quest for relevant information. As you've learned, the research process involves choosing a topic, narrowing down your topic based on informal inquiry, and then developing a research question for formal inquiry. It's important to remember as you go through the research process that it's okay to modify and adjust your research plan as you see fit. This is your project. All right, so final thoughts before you go. Just let me know where you are. If you never did your narrative, that's really what you need to do. Go do your narrative. If you need to do some brainstorming to get a research topic, then here, you can do that. If you have a research topic and you need to go find some sources, that's kind of where you should be right now. But if you're someplace else, that's okay too. But maybe you got ahead of the game and you've already done some research and you want to know if your sources are valid. Awesome. But if you're lost and you want to give up, I need to know that so I can talk you out of it, because I don't succeed unless you succeed. So there you go. You can always do it over again if you choose to, but no need. I'm happy you came today. Have a good day.